Welcome to Ping 24 Updates. Subscribe my channel and press the bell icon for more updates. The world woke up to headlines that seemed to redraw the map, news that would ripple across continents and industries alike. China pours $50 billion into Thai Super Canal. The sheer scale of the investment stunned analysts and business leaders worldwide. The Kra Canal isn't just a construction project, it's China's bold move to reshape global commerce, a vision that could alter the very flow of goods and wealth. Imagine a massive channel carved through Thailand's narrowest point, linking the Indian and Pacific Oceans. This engineering marvel would transform the region's geography and its role in world trade. This canal would let ships bypass the congested Strait of Malacca, a centuries-old trade highway that has long been a choke point for global shipping. The scale is staggering. $50 billion signals this is no dream, but a calculated play by China. It's a commitment that shows just how high the stakes are. Through its Belt and Road initiative, China is investing in infrastructure that could reconfigure the economic landscape for Asia and beyond, weaving new connections across continents. The canal promises to reduce shipping times, lower costs, and create new economic opportunities for countries along its route, potentially shifting the balance of trade. But it also raises big questions. What happens to Singapore and Malaysia, whose economies depend on the Strait of Malacca? How will they adapt to this new reality? The Kra Canal is more than a shortcut, it's a symbol of shifting power and a world becoming even more interconnected, where old alliances and rivalries may be tested. Just as fiber optic cables flatten the world of information, this canal aims to flatten the world of physical goods, making distance and geography less of a barrier than ever before. It's a bold bet on the future of global trade, a gamble that could redefine how nations connect, compete, and prosper. The headlines are just the beginning of a story that could impact us all, from the world's largest corporations to everyday consumers. The world's map, and its balance of power, may never look the same. The Kra Canal could be the turning point that future generations look back on as the dawn of a new era in global trade. The Strait of Malacca is the world's busiest maritime superhighway. Over 80,000 ships pass through each year, weaving a dense web of commerce between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. These ships carry a staggering one-third of global trade, transporting everything from electronics and clothing to oil and food, making this narrow waterway a vital artery for the world economy. For economic powerhouses like China, Japan, and South Korea, the strait is a lifeline, especially for energy imports that fuel their industries and keep their cities running. But this heavy reliance creates what's known as the Malacca Dilemma, a single choke point that, if blocked or disrupted, could bring trade to a standstill in a matter of days. About 80% of China's oil imports pass through here, making the strait not just important, but a critical strategic vulnerability for the world's second-largest economy. The strait is also nearing its capacity, leading to congestion, higher shipping costs, and increased risks of accidents and piracy, threats that can disrupt the flow of goods at any moment. For shipping companies, every extra day at sea means burning more fuel, racking up higher expenses, and facing tighter delivery deadlines. The search for a faster, safer route is urgent, not just for China, but for the entire global economy, as delays here ripple across continents and industries. A disruption in the Strait of Malacca would send shockwaves through supply chains worldwide, leading to shortages, delays, and economic losses on a massive scale. The efficiency of this route is also its greatest weakness. One blockage, whether from an accident, conflict, or natural disaster, and the entire system falters. The proposed Kra Canal is a direct response, a bold bid to build resilience into global trade by offering an alternative path and reducing dependence on a single choke point. It's not just about bypassing a bottleneck, it's about future-proofing the world's supply lines and ensuring that trade can continue, no matter what challenges arise. The Malacca Dilemma is a global problem, and the search for alternatives is only intensifying as nations and companies look for ways to secure their economic futures. The world's greatest strengths, its interconnectedness and efficiency, can also be its greatest vulnerabilities, as a single point of failure can have far-reaching consequences. The quest for a new route is ultimately a quest for security and stability in a flat, interconnected world, one where the flow of goods shapes the fate of nations. The Kra Canal is a simple idea with revolutionary consequences. By cutting across southern Thailand, it would let ships bypass the Strait of Malacca, saving up to 5 days of sailing. In shipping, time is money. This shortcut could transform global trade. Like the Suez and Panama Canals before it, the Kra Canal could shift economic power and create new winners and losers. Southern Thailand could become a major logistics and industrial hub, attracting investment and jobs. For China, it's a solution to the Malacca dilemma. For neighbors like Myanmar and Vietnam, it's a new trade opportunity. But for Singapore and Malaysia, it's a threat, diverting traffic and challenging their status as maritime hubs. The canal would redraw the economic map of Southeast Asia, shifting supply chains and investment flows. Infrastructure isn't just concrete, it's economic statecraft. By building the canal, China would secure its trade and expand its influence across the region. The Kra Canal is a physical sign of a changing world order. Building the Kra Canal would be a monumental engineering feat. The plan carve a channel over 100 kilometers through hills and jungle, wide and deep enough for the world's largest ships. This isn't just digging a ditch, it's moving billions of cubic meters of earth, building massive locks, and creating high-tech ports. Planners envision a smart canal with automated traffic management, real-time tracking, and digital customs. The project would use renewable energy and sustainable construction, aiming to set a new standard for mega infrastructure. Construction would take over a decade and employ hundreds of thousands. Chinese companies, with experience from projects like the Three Gorges Dam, are poised to lead. But the challenges aren't just technical, local communities and ecosystems would be deeply affected. Success depends on balancing engineering ambition with environmental and social responsibility. The Kra Canal must be a marvel for both people and the planet. The Kra Canal is poised to be the crown jewel of China's Belt and Road Initiative. The BRI is China's grand strategy to connect itself to the world through roads, railways, ports, and pipelines. The canal would anchor China's presence in Southeast Asia, serving as a critical artery between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. For China, it's about more than trade. It's about projecting power and shaping a new world order. Financing would come from Chinese state banks and the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, deepening Thailand's economic ties to Beijing. This model of Chinese-led construction and financing is a hallmark of the BRI. By building the canal, China not only secures its own interests, but also increases its influence over regional economies. The project embodies the BRI's core idea, infrastructure, as the key to economic development and connectivity. The Kra Canal could become the ultimate symbol of China's ambition to lead in a more interconnected world. It's a bold step toward making the Belt and Road vision a reality. The Kra Canal would shake up Asia's geopolitical chessboard. For Thailand, it's a chance to become a regional logistics hub, but also a move that could draw it closer to China and strain ties with the US. The canal could physically and politically divide Thailand, raising concerns about sovereignty and security. For Southeast Asian neighbors, it's both an opportunity and a source of anxiety. Ports may gain, but China's influence would grow. The association of Southeast Asian nations could be split, as members weigh economic gains against strategic risks. For Singapore and Malaysia, the canal threatens their economic lifelines, potentially diverting up to 30% of shipping traffic. Losing this traffic would mean not just economic loss, but diminished geopolitical relevance. These countries must rethink their strategies in a world where their geographic advantage is fading. The canal forces a fundamental reassessment of alliance and economic models across the region. It's an existential challenge for Southeast Asia's old order. From Washington's perspective, the Kra Canal is a strategic red flag, one that could reshape the balance of power in Asia for decades to come. For decades, the US Navy has dominated the Pacific, securing vital choke points like the Strait of Malacca and ensuring the free flow of global trade. This dominance has been a cornerstone of American influence in the region. But now, a Chinese-funded canal in Thailand would directly challenge this dominance, giving China's Navy a strategic shortcut between the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean. This new route could allow Chinese warships to move quickly and efficiently, bypassing traditional US patrol zones. The canal fits neatly into China's string of pearls strategy, an ambitious plan to build a network of ports and bases across the Indian Ocean, securing its sea lanes and expanding its global reach. With the Kra Canal, China could bypass US control points, undermining American leverage and shifting the military balance in the Indo-Pacific. This would make it harder for the US to monitor or contain Chinese naval movements. The US response? Expect diplomatic pressure, stronger alliances with Japan, Australia and India, and a larger, more visible naval presence in the region. Washington will likely double down on joint military exercises and intelligence sharing. Washington would also urge Thailand to reconsider, warning of sovereignty risks, economic dependencies, and the potential for regional instability if the canal proceeds. The canal would quickly become a new flashpoint in the ever-intensifying US-China rivalry, drawing in regional players and raising the risk of confrontation. The world is no longer unipolar, it's a contest of competing powers, each vying for influence and security in a rapidly changing landscape. The Kra Canal is more than just an infrastructure project. It's a concrete symbol of China's challenge to the US-led order and a test of American resolve. For America, the question is how to compete with a China that's not just rising, but actively building its own system and rewriting the rules. The sleepy isthmus of Kra could soon become a front line in this new great game, a place where global ambitions collide and the future of the region is decided. The stakes are global, the consequences far-reaching, and the rivalry is just beginning. Amid the economic and strategic debates, the environmental cost of the Kra Canal looms large. Carving a 100-kilometer channel would mean massive deforestation, destruction of mangroves and coral reefs, and disruption of wildlife. The Kra Isthmus is rich in biodiversity. Environmentalists warn the canal could cause irreversible damage. Construction would generate enormous waste, risk soil erosion, and pollute waterways. The canal could alter freshwater flows, affecting agriculture and ecosystems on both sides. Once operational, the risk of oil spills and invasive species would rise with constant ship traffic. Even with modern safeguards, the environmental risks can't be fully eliminated. The canal would add permanent pressure to a region already stressed by climate change. Can we justify mega-projects with such high environmental costs in the 21st century? The Kra Canal is not just an economic or strategic crossroads, it's an environmental one. The Kra Canal is a $50 billion gamble on the future. It's a bet that global trade can be rerouted, and that the rewards will outweigh the risks. For China, it's a strategic move to break free from the Malacca dilemma and cement its regional leadership. If successful, the canal could spark decades of growth for Thailand and its neighbors, creating a new logistics hub. It could lower shipping costs and make global trade more efficient, but the risks are huge. Political hurdles, fierce opposition from the US, and serious environmental concerns. There's also the risk it becomes a white elephant if shipping patterns don't shift. The canal could leave Thailand with debt and division, or transform the region. The story of the Kra Canal is the story of our time: globalization, great power rivalry, and the hard choices between growth and conservation. As of now, it's still a proposal, a line on a map with the power to change the world. The map is being redrawn before our eyes.